Let's compare two items with fairly similar functionality but vastly different prices. Hi, it's Jen, and this is definitely going to be a budget versus bougie kind of video. Very high-low extremes here. I thought this would be a lot of fun though, because I recently picked up these two items, and on the surface you might be like, these have nothing in common. But when I look at the items themselves, they actually are fairly similar, both from iconic brands, both kind of a keychain, key pouch sort of function, but the price is very different story here. So the items I'm going to be referring to, this I got during a recent IKEA shopping trip. This is the IKEA Nolig, that's with a K, and IKEA is known for their really like indestructible, durable shopping bags. I have several of them. I use them for so many things. They are so cheap. They're made of this like polypropylene plastic type material and bright blue color. I love the blue and yellow that IKEA features. And this is like a little micro take on their iconic shopping bags. So I picked this up. This was, no joke, $1.50. $1.50 there. I couldn't not get one. I've noticed IKEA has started selling merch, like they have hats. They also have the shopping bags in several different sizes, which I think is genius because a lot of people really love these things. So it is like a tiny shopping bag. And when I look at the website, a lot of the reviews have pictures of this tiny shopping bag with a pet. So like they'll be with like guinea pigs, or they'll have like a cat holding, like appearing to hold it. This could also be like, if you take off the hardware, this could be like a doll accessory, maybe for like a Barbie doll or for like an American Girl doll. So it's got little handles, zips open, you can attach your keys, you can put stuff inside, and I just thought this was such a cute little item, and for the price, you can't beat it. All right, on the other hand here, we've got extreme high-end designer item. This is the Louis Vuitton key pouch. If you haven't seen my original video on why I bought these items, check it out. I'm gonna link it up here and down below in the description box. This item, again, let's put these side by side. This is a little bit wider than the IKEA bag, but let's be real here. This is about the same size, and this does not have a little gusset in the bottom, so this is a very thin item. It's got the monogram canvas here, so obviously different materials, metal hardware, and let me take out all this stuff. I've been storing it with the silica gels in it, so hopefully it stays nicely preserved. And this has a gold carabiner clip. But again, if you put these side by side, look how similar these items really are. Now, the price of the Louis Vuitton key pouch, $325. Yeah, cha-ching. I mean, this is a ridiculously expensive item for what it is. We all know you're paying for the LV logo here, although I've come to realize there are a ton of Louis Vuitton fakes out there, and a lot of the super fakes are pretty convincing. So I kind of feel like a fool for paying $325 for this. And I did the math. You could buy 216 of the IKEA bags before you could buy one of the Louis Vuitton key pouches. So let that sink in for a minute. Let's talk about these items a little bit more. I have an overhead shot so you can see the items side by side. Again, you might not associate these two things. You'd be like, what the heck? But I got these, and then I started to realize how similar they are in just the practicality. So look at the size, fairly similar. Obviously very different materials. This is like a plastic nylon zipper with metal hardware. The metal hardware is obviously fairly inexpensive. This has a much nicer metal zipper with the LV custom hardware, and then this gold carabiner clip. Now, I do quite a bit of sewing, and I can tell you, even though this is a super expensive item, the hardware is not that expensive to manufacture. It's just not. The most expensive zipper I have seen to purchase is about $17. So if this is, even if this is like, say $20, and then this hardware is, let's say another $20, which it's not, but let's just say it is, that's $40. Let's say the materials, I'm being really generous, another you know, maybe $10, which again, I think I'm being very overly generous here. But say the total raw materials cost is $50. $50 raw materials, $325 retail price. There's a pretty wide profit margin in there, even when you include the skilled labor, the transportation costs, the business costs, everything. Let's be real, LV still making a lot of money here. So again, nice item. And this is actually one of the more popular items from Louis Vuitton. So let's see, you can fit, I have a little business card here. So you can fit that inside. I've also heard people say they will put like cash in here, credit cards. I've got some cold meds here. You can put this inside. Here is a lip gloss. You could fit this inside, but there would be definitely a bit of a bulge here. So I'm just trying to show you here kind of what fits inside here. The main purpose for this though is so you can attach keys to it and then your keys don't wreck the inside of your purse. I personally have never been concerned about that myself because my purses were not that expensive. But I suppose if you have a $2,000 bag or $3,000 bag, that would be a much bigger worry there. So I totally get it. You know, here's a $300 item, you know, you can protect your $3,000 handbag. I don't personally find that very relatable, but hey, I know there are people out there that have that worry. So, you know, hey, it's cool. So you can put the carabiner outside or inside. So the thing that gets me about this price though for the item is that this is not a lined item. You can see the zipper tape, and this leather backing is basically just the backing of the canvas. But as a sewist, I can tell you this is not an actual lining. And I think for a $325 price tag, I would like to see LV do that. I think that would be a welcome addition to this product. I believe this item used to cost about $270. So they've jacked up the price in the last couple of years. I've seen some quality complaints from LV. And with this item, a lot of people feel like the stitching is a little too loose. And when you're looking in the item, you can see light through it. And in this item, you definitely can. Now, does that really bother me? Not particularly. I think this is a made in the USA item. I know a lot of people like the made in France stuff. So I'm pretty sure this is made in, yeah, this is a made in the USA item. But I've seen customers complain about this from different countries of manufacturers, so I don't know if that really matters. So let's take a look at this and compare it to this much, much cheaper item, the IKEA Nolig bag. Now this, I could actually argue that this item has a higher level of complexity in terms of the item itself. So this is basically just an unlined pouch. Because of the rounded corners, it makes it a little bit easier to sew. I'm just going to be real with you. This item, not only, now this, well, this is also unlined. I'll turn this inside out. This is also unlined. You can see the zipper tape here. But on one side, so this, it looks like basically the only seam in the bag. So it has boxed out corners at the bottom, which is a slightly more difficult level of, requires a little bit more work than the Louis Vuitton key pouch. But on one side, I was actually kind of impressed because this item, if you can see here, this is like a bound seam or like kind of a French seam. Yeah, I think it's more, I think this is kind of a bound seam, and that is a step above just having like the raw edges exposed like it is with the Louis Vuitton key pouch. So that, I would give IKEA some kudos for that. The other thing that you have to keep in mind is they added these little handles. So that adds another degree, like another step in the making process of this item. So in my opinion, even though these are very different materials, I would guess that this little IKEA bag takes a little bit longer to sew. Again, if, you know, assuming the people have the same skill level, which they probably don't, but whatever, I think this takes at least as long to make as the Louis Vuitton key pouch. Now, I know Louis Vuitton allegedly is supposed to have like a higher degree of quality control, so They probably don't put out the ones that don't turn out exactly perfect, which I'm gonna guess the quality control for IKEA might be a little, maybe there's like a lower bar of, you know, how perfect it needs to be. But I noticed most of the items I saw when I was at IKEA, they weren't bad. The construction wasn't bad. I'm not noticing anything super wonky about this item, and I thought it was super cute. And for $1.50, who am I to argue? Oh, and also this has another line of stitching here. So I think in terms of just the degree of difficulty, the level of complexity with the design and the making, I think this IKEA cheapo version definitely rivals this really super bougie Louis Vuitton version that is way, way more expensive. So if you are looking for a very, very budget-friendly version of the Louis Vuitton key pouch, you want something that does the same thing. And I've actually been using this item. I don't use this item because I'm using this for my Louis Vuitton experiment, but I've been using this IKEA little key pouch on the daily, and it's been holding up really well so far. This material, I just love how indestructible this material is. I've used those shopping bags. I've had the same IKEA shopping bags for many, many years. They hold up well. Let's see what this little guy can hold. So I've got my business card here. You can fit this in here. So I could fit gift cards or credit cards in this little thing. Let's see. Wow, okay, I can actually fit the lip gloss in here. That's kind of crazy. I can fit my little cough medicine in here. Here's some Apple AirPods. Let's see if I can fit this in here. All right. Oh my gosh, these actually kind of fit. If I take the lip gloss out, I think I could fit this. But I mean, this holds a decent amount of stuff. I could put cash in here. Here's my Laneige lip sleeping mask. This is a little bulky, but this still zips shut. So that's awesome. So I mean, the functionality of this IKEA item is pretty good for the price. I mean, you can't beat that. Here's some hair ties I could stick in here. Here's my little camera remote control. I could stick that in here. I mean, check this out. And it's still like no bulge, looks pretty cool. The fact that I can buy 216 of these for the price of one of these is just insanity to me. So let's see what else we can stick in here. All right, let's empty this guy out. Chanel Egg Hand Cream. This totally fits. I cannot believe this Chanel hand cream actually fits in here. And I could actually squeeze a couple more little things in here. Like I could probably put a credit card in here as well and my hair ties. So, I mean, this little item is pretty useful. And for the price, I think this is an amazing value. So IKEA no-lig shopping bag, kudos to you. Louis Vuitton key pouch, still a cool item to have. Obviously, this is gonna keep its resale value, I guess, if you're looking into that. But you could buy a ton of these. Another kind of whacked out thing I realized is the price of this Louis Vuitton key pouch is about the same price as I paid for my wedding in 2008. I'm not joking with you. I did a video about it a while back. My wedding was about $330 and this thing is $325 plus tax. So I mean, really, it's probably closer to $350. So this Louis Vuitton item, more expensive than Jen's wedding. Just let that sink in too. Now, I am not at all saying that this $1.50 IKEA bag is the exact same thing or totally equivalent as the Louis Vuitton key pouch. Obviously, there's a lot of luxury name brand recognition and, perceived, status with this item. So you get that with the Louis Vuitton item. And again, these are actually really hard to get now. Whenever I feel lucky that I got it because it's always unavailable on the website now. And I've heard rumors that Louis Vuitton is trying to phase out the canvas items, which in my opinion is a huge mistake because the canvas is really one of the major reasons why this brand is so well known and people just love the items. So I think getting rid of them is kind of a bad idea. Maybe it's just me, but I just think this was kind of a fun experiment to compare and contrast these two similar but also very different items. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think. Out of these two items, which do you like better? Which do you prefer? The $1.50 IKEA version or the $325 Louis Vuitton key pouch. Do you own either? Do you own both of these? And let me know what you think, because this is kind of a crazy comparison. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. And if you haven't seen some of my other videos here about handbags and fashion and whatnot, check those out. I'm going to be doing more stuff about handbags because it's kind of a long time obsession that I haven't really gotten into on YouTube, and I am fully ready to do so. Anyways, I'm Jen, and I'll see you guys again in the next video.